Why don't airplanes ever get lost? Because they always take a flight path. Welcome, aviation enthusiasts and curious minds. Today, we're embarking on an extraordinary journey that promises to be more than your typical flight experience. We're going a step further, a step higher, soaring above the norm, above the conventional, and far above the ordinary. We're transcending the boundaries of the expected, venturing into a realm unknown to many. Our destination, you ask? A whimsical, wide-ranging exploration of aviation around the globe. A voyage to the very heart of the clouds, across continents, through time zones, over glittering cities and uninhabited landscapes. We'll delve deep into the fascinating world of aviation, a world that plays an essential role in our lives, yet remains shrouded in mystery for many. It's a world that's both massive and intricate and expansive. We'll uncover the quirks that make this industry so endearing, the trivia that will leave you surprised, and the unexpected delights that make every flight a unique experience. We'll journey through the captivating past of aviation, exploring its humble beginnings and its growth into the colossal global industry it is today. We'll marvel at the technological marvels that make air travel possible and learn about the dedicated professionals who keep our planes in the sky. From the smallest twin-engine aircraft to the largest passenger jet, from the busiest airports to the secluded airstrips, no flight path will be left unexplored. We'll discover the challenges that pilots face, the triumphs they celebrate, and the adventures they live every day. We'll meet the unsung heroes of the industry, those working tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure that we, the passengers, can travel safely and comfortably. We'll get a glimpse into the operations that keep this complex industry running smoothly and efficiently. So, now that we've lightened the mood and ignited your curiosity, it's time to prepare for takeoff. Sit back, relax, fasten your seatbelts, because we're about to take off on an extraordinary, awe-inspiring flight around the world. Ever wondered why pilots talk so funny? Well, you're not alone. Plenty of us are curious about the language pilots use while on the job. No, they're not from another planet, although their unusual linguistic choices might make you think so. The truth is, they're using a series of coded and terminologies that hold significant meanings in the aviation world. So sit back, fasten your seatbelts, and let's journey through this turbulence of terms, shall we? First up, we've got squawk. Quite a peculiar word, isn't it? No, it's not the sound a chicken makes, although it'd be rather amusing if pilots were just clucking at each other all day. Squawk in the aviation world isn't related to barnyard banter. In fact, squawk is a 4-digit code that aircraft use to communicate with air traffic control. This isn't just any random number, it's an identifier assigned by air traffic control to each aircraft in flight. It's kind of like their secret handshake or a membership card to an exclusive club. So when you hear squawk, know that it's all about communication and identification. Next, we have deadhead. The term itself sounds morbid, almost like something out of a Halloween movie, right? But don't worry, we're not talking about a grim reaper in the cockpit or some horror movie scenario. In reality, deadhead is a term used when a crew member is traveling as a passenger to get to work. In other words, when a pilot or flight attendant isn't working on a flight, but is simply a passenger traveling to their next assignment, they're deadheading. So if you see a pilot sitting next to you, don't fret or worry that your plane is missing a pilot. They're probably just hitching a ride. Now let's talk about crabbing. You're probably imagining a pilot munching on a seafood platter, aren't you? Well, disappointingly, crabbing is not about a pilot's preference for seafood. Crabbing is actually a technique pilots use to keep the airplane aligned with the runway during crosswind landings. Picture a crab walking sideways, and that's effectively what the airplane is doing, adjusting its angle to counteract the wind and stay in line with the runway. It's a skillful maneuver requiring precision and control. So when a pilot talks about crabbing, they're discussing a critical aspect of aviation safety. Lastly, we have Roger. This one might sound familiar. You might be thinking, is there a pilot's best friend named Roger who we're about to meet? Unfortunately, no. Roger is simply a term used to acknowledge a received message. It's a legacy from the time of Morse code communications when R indicated received. Over time, R became Roger, and it's still used today as a quick and clear confirmation. So, as you can see, pilots are not aliens speaking an extraterrestrial language. They're just professionals utilizing a distinctive set of terminologies. They're simply using their own unique lingo for clarity and precision, while thousands of feet up in the air. Did you hear about the pilot who couldn't bear the cold at high altitudes? He just couldn't handle the draft. This may sound like the punchline to an all-too-familiar bar joke, but it's actually a humorous nod to the quite serious and complex subject of altitude adjustments, a topic that is far from a laughing matter in the nuanced world of aviation. We are, however, all for a little lightheartedness and humor here. A good laugh keeps the spirits high and the mood light, right? So today, I invite you to join me on a fascinating journey into the science of altitudes and their varying effects on flight conditions. Imagine this scenario. You're soaring high above the ground, nestled comfortably in the cockpit of an airliner, cruising at a staggering 35,000 feet. Quite a picture, isn't it? Now let's delve into the ambient conditions. The temperature outside your window at this height isn't precisely what you'd call conducive for a beach holiday. In fact, it plummets to an astounding minus 60 degrees Fahrenheit. What a bone-chilling thought. That's colder than the heart of a lover scorned, wouldn't you agree? But hold on, the plot thickens. The atmospheric conditions morph as you climb higher. The atmospheric pressure begins to decrease, causing the air to thin out. This means that your aircraft has to put in extra effort to maintain its trajectory and speed. Picture trying to sprint up a hill while carrying a giant sack of potatoes. Not the easiest feat and bound to get a bit messy. Now, a question may arise in your mind. Why would anyone choose to fly at such a high altitude if the conditions are so harsh, the air so cold, and breathing becomes increasingly difficult? The answer, my friend, is deceptively simple. Turbulence. The higher the aircraft's altitude, the smoother the journey becomes. It's akin to systematically reducing the drama and chaos in your life when you decide to stop engaging with the often toxic comment sections on the internet. The higher you go, the more peaceful it becomes. So there you have it, folks. Altitude adjustments, a complex and delicate dance between temperature, pressure, and ensuring your in-flight meal stays right where it should, in your stomach and not in your lap. It's an intriguing balance that pilots navigate every day, and it's integral to ensuring that passengers have a comfortable and safe flight. The world of aviation is indeed a fascinating one, filled with nuances and complexities that may initially come across as intimidating. But as you delve deeper, you realize that every decision, every action, every adjustment is designed for a specific purpose, to ensure a smooth, safe, and enjoyable flight experience. So, the next time you're on a flight, and you feel that slight dip in temperature, remember our little chat today? Remember, the higher you fly, the colder it gets. So maybe pack a sweater. What's a pilot's favorite type of bagel? Plain, of course. A burst of laughter erupts and we begin our final descent, slowly winding down our aviation extravaganza. We've sailed through the vast blue skies of humor, dodged the occasional turbulence of heavy terms, and ascended and descended our altitude to gain a newfound perspective on the expansive world of aviation, all while keeping our seatbelts securely fastened. As we cruise through the end of this journey, it seems apt to do a full circle and trace back to our starting point. We commence this adventurous ride by tickling your funny bone with a well-curated collection of aviation humor, an array of amusing anecdotes and gags that captured the heart of aviation in a lighthearted and engaging manner. From the pilots who always seem to misplace their keys to the imposing control tower, to the diligent air traffic controllers who enjoy the best panoramic view in the house, we delved into the everyday quirks and peculiarities that make the world of aviation a truly unique one. Gliding smoothly from there, we navigated through the crosswinds of complex terms, dissecting and simplifying the often overwhelming jargon that can seem as dense as an overcast sky. We meticulously deconstructed the confounding acronyms and sailed through the fascinating nomenclature, all while ensuring we keep our heads buoyant above the clouds. This was no less than an intellectual adventure, a linguistic journey that made us comprehend the depth of aviation terminology, and in turn, the intricacies of aviation itself. Next, we ascended to new, uncharted heights with altitude adjustments. We dissected, discussed, and debated in depth how pilots, those brave souls of the sky, acclimatize themselves to varying atmospheric conditions. We explored how they manage to keep their composure, their cool. Even when they're floating thousands of feet off the ground, they maintain a level of calm and collectedness that is truly awe-inspiring. We spoke to experienced pilots, aviation experts, and seasoned flight instructors, each sharing extraordinary stories of courage, quick thinking, and resilience in the face of the unknown. As we prepare ourselves for a smooth landing, let's remember one more thing. One final punchline to wrap up this comic relief. Why don't pilots ever get lost, you might ask? Perhaps it's their extraordinary navigational skills, their years of rigorous training, or their unyielding determination. But the real reason? Because they always wing it. A chuckle ripples through the cabin at this final jest, a fitting end to our amusing aerial adventure. And with that, hope you've enjoyed this flight of fun facts, and remember, keep your sense of humor on full throttle.